Assalamualaikum dear students. Today the subject is Science Grade 5 Lesson number 3 Safety and First Aid. Today the topic is First Aid. Students, we should follow safety rules to avoid accidents. This is true. We always should follow the safety rules to avoid accidents. But sometimes, in spite of being careful, accidents occur. It means sometimes accident occurs even when we are careful. In case of an accident, we should inform an adult or a doctor so that they may help us. The injured person must be given first aid before the arrival of a doctor. What is first aid? First aid is the immediate help given to an injured person before the arrival of a doctor. It means before reaching the hospital or before the arriving of a doctor, the immediate help that is given to the injured person is called first aid. While giving first aid, do not panic, because if you get panicked, then you can do nothing. First aid can prevent the condition of the victim from getting worse. It means first aid can prevent the condition of victim from getting much serious. Let us read about some first aid tips. First aid for burn means help for someone who gets burned. Students, in case of a minor burn, minor means small burn. Hold the burnt area under cold running water till the burning sensation becomes less. Means flow cold water on the burn until the pains becomes less. Then apply an antiseptic cream or a paste of baking soda and water on the burnt area so that the burnt area do not get infected. But if the burn is serious, immediately call a doctor. Blisters, if formed, should not be pricked. Means if the burn is serious, then you should immediately call the doctor, and if the blisters are formed on the burn, then do not prick them up. In case of chemical burns, means if someone burns due to some chemicals, then wash the affected area with plenty of water so that the burning sensation lags. And then cover the burn with sterile gauze. Then immediately take the victim to the doctor. First aid for animal bites means to help someone in case of animal bite. Animals like dogs, cats, and monkeys may bite human beings. Animal bites can cause rabies. Means rabies is a preventable viral disease most often transmitted through the bite of a rabid animal. The rabies virus infects the central nervous system of mammals, ultimately causing disease in the brain and then death. In case of an animal bite, wash the affected area with the soap and water and apply an antiseptic lotion. Cover the wound with a bandage if required and take the patient to the doctor immediately. In case of bee stings, apply a paste of baking soda or toothpaste so that the pain could be lack. But in case of snake bite, tie a tourniquet just above the bite to stop the flow of blood to the heart. A tourniquet is a tight bandage which can tighten further by twisting a cross piece, stick or pencil. By doing this, the poisoned blood stops from flowing towards the heart. Immediately rush the victim to a doctor means immediately taking the victim to the doctor. First aid for fractures means help for a victim of fracture. Fracture is a crack or break in a bone. In case of a fracture, the injured person feels more pain. So, do not try to move the fractured part because it can cause more pain. As the fracture is a crack or break in a bone, so the fractured part needs support. If the fracture is in hand, means a bone in hand which is break are cracked, then a cloth sling can be used to give support. But the patient must be taken to the hospital immediately. A magazine, newspaper, or piece of cardboard can be tied around the fractured part to give support. This acts as a splint. Splint means to give support to the fractured area by tying some hard thing to the fractured area. First aid for sprains means help a victim of sprain. A sprain is caused when the tissues around a joint get torn. The affected area swells up and causes much pain. On the swelling, rub ice till the swelling subsides. Means we should rub ice on the swelling area until the swelling is ended. First aid for nosebleed. At times when it is very hot, nose may bleed. It means sometimes during summer when it is very hot, nose may bleed. In this situation, keep the patient upright with his head held back. The patient's head should be held back and upright. Pour some cold water on the patient's head, then press the bleeding side of the nose firmly. The patient must not put his finger in the nose. Means the patient should press his nostril, which is bleeding, and should not put his finger in the bleeding side.